The show is called What's on Your Mind? We talking to real people about real issues, having a real conversation.
Hey, I am Carla, better known as Fly Carla, celebrity stylist, TV host, all around fly girl, blogger, and I always have like so much to say.
All right, Tyreek Jackson, filmmaker, comedic actor, writer, daytime stripper. I got a lot of opinions and a lot of talents, so I'm ready to bring them to the table.
The first question is, do you feel that the government has delivered on some of its promises, recent promises? Why and why not?
All right, who do you want to start?
Go for it. Come on, let's let it roll.
So I feel like I need a cocktail to start.
Yes.
Before I go in on the government.
I feel like the government has failed every promise to its black citizens since we've been here. I feel like, I don't know if the question was geared towards, the COVID packages and all of that, but past that, I just feel like they never really done anything to make us feel welcomed here, legislative wise, financially wise. And I don't know if they ever can make it up. You get what I'm saying? I think each generation, every 40, 50 years, they pass a few laws that allow us to make a little bit more money. But for the most part, there's still a ton of social problems that are like in the wake of that. So, they haven't. Right.
Go ahead, Carla, chime in. Let us have it.
Throughout the whole, from COVID and then the recent social injustice.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me that in 2020, the government is really ran by a whole bunch of mediocre white men. Just a whole bunch of white people who had like a C average in college. They are running our government. And what we're seeing right now is the manifestation of them being mediocre. Obama could never do any of this. Even as Donald Trump said, sleepy Joe Biden could never do any of this or what they're doing to us right now. They are literally acting like there's not a global pandemic going on, there's not a social unrest happening, and we are just living through it. It's really what movie am I in? What comic book am I in? What I never thought I was a superhero for real.
I feel 45 has been over his head ever since he got in office. I think I think the COVID thing is I think if COVID would have hit when Barack was president or even George W., somebody who was competent, it would have still been bad. You get what I'm saying? Other countries that aren't ran as poorly as ours were getting hit by it. I just think it just sucks that it's once in a century pandemic hits when we have the legit worst person in charge.
Possibly.
I know, right? It's
even rushing everybody to go back. Here in California, we're about to shut down again. And then you got states like Florida, Texas, and I forget the third state. I think it was Arizona. They're all spiking crazily.
Right.
And it's a tough thing because it's an invisible virus and no one can really see it happening. Mm-hmm. And I think so many people were outside milling about, chilling without them feeling sick. So it allows a lot of people to think this thing isn't real. But yeah, this government is they get an F.
Yeah.
They get a complete F.
So I was thinking just with George W. Bush though, he wasn't the best president, but I think that he had more compassion for people than Donald Trump. So I feel even he would have done a better job of handling this pandemic.
And I I think he had better people around him too that were competent.
Yeah.
Also, just with like America and Americans are so trashy. Like we are trashy. We are privileged. Like the fact that
Well, who are you saying of America? That's a
Black people and white people.
Everybody.
Everybody. The Black people in Atlanta who were lined up for some Jordans in Lenox Mall, like right when it opened. The white people who live by the beach but act like they never been to the beach, and so they're like rushing to the beach. Like it's like get serious. But then there are countries who have gotten this pandemic under control.
I know,
Americans
exactly.
Are just so privileged and just so trashy, and we act like we can't function without it's not even like people compare like being locked down to being locked up. And it's like, get serious. Like, you can't, I can have a cocktail.
Dude, it's totally different.
It's totally different.
It's totally different.
Like,
totally different.
Still walk outside of our house. You know, like, are you upset that you can't go meet your drinking buddy? Like, calm down.
You can still order whatever food that you loved on the when stuff was open. Like, you in prison,
right?
You eating what they give you.
You guys, would you be upset if we don't get another stimulus?
Yeah, I think we should. I think the stimulus they gave us wasn't enough either. Like $1,200 ain't really helping nobody if you over the age of like 22. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
and depending on where you live, I mean,
exactly.
You know, it's like,
I think honestly we should have been getting the amount of money because I was lucky enough to be on unemployment. The stimulus should have been that. Like the stimulus check is an equivalent of what you would get on unemployment per week. So people who got a stimulus check should either be getting it bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly. Even if they would have given that $1,200 a month, I think that would have helped a lot of American families out. Because like if you weren't lucky enough to have a job where you could get like really good unemployment benefits, you were screwed.
Yeah. Carla, what you think?
I feel like, first of all, I'm really upset that Bernie is not the Democratic nomination. That really just makes me like upset because of, you know, like, why wouldn't Americans want health care for all? You know, like, why wouldn't Americans want to cancel college debt? You know, like Bernie has been saying, like, we need to give Americans at least $2,000 a month until this pandemic is under control. You know, he has some, like, I get like super progressive ideas, and it's just like, yeah, I could go for 2 G's a month. Like, why wouldn't I don't think America is broke. They definitely can afford it.
Yes.
It's literally just our administration, like, they're playing with our livelihoods.
Right.
And what really gets me is like the Trump supporters. It's like, y'all know y'all need this stimulus check. Like, cut it out. Like, you live in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you work at a gas station. You know, you work at a local diner. Like, why are you supporting someone who doesn't even have your best interest at heart? You know, and it's just literally because you're a racist and you're a bigot. You know, but you need these coins. And so, America need this extra income coming into our pockets, because even with the economy being reopened, things aren't open fully. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, I can go to a restaurant, but the restaurant only has a limited number of seating.
Right, exactly.
Which means that they're not even fully staffed.
Right.
If I go to a clothing store, it's not even fully staffed anymore. It's only a certain amount of people can be into the store. So, and then even like the smaller stores, they can't even open because it's more expensive to reopen than to close. So yeah.
I mean, even speaking of that, it's like, even if these companies and businesses continue to open up like they do, here come the lawsuits. Possibly if someone walk into the establishment and say, hey, I was here XYZ and I wind up getting it, you know, now I'm going to sue you because you didn't protect me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Apple closed right quick because Apple was like, we got the coins, and where we're opening, the cases are going up. And so they closed their stores right back down.
Right.
They was like, we got the coins. Like, y'all ain't coming after us.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been affected by police brutality, by being pulled over or, racially profiled? I mean, it happened to me. I couldn't believe it. It's like guns drawn up on me immediately.
This is in LA?
No, not in LA. I'm from Chicago. It happened before I moved out here. And it was, 2 police officers. All they saw, I had a baseball cap on, and all they saw was me and my skin color. But they stopped me. I was at a stop sign. I stopped at the stop sign, and they immediately, turned on the sirens and came out. And they both had their guns out ready. One in the back, one in the front, at the driver with the gun showing at my window.
Oh, wow.
Like, we're looking for some guy. And they never said sorry or anything. They just, that was it.
After pushing.
Yeah. And
wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah. Has that ever affected any of you? Anything like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can remember I think I can remember the times where I didn't have guns drawn on me more than the times I've had guns drawn on me, because I feel like the majority of the times I get pulled over, the guns are coming out regardless.
Yeah.
It's just like, to me, the upsetting thing about it is that it's just so commonplace. Like, that you can have your civil liberty disrespected in that way, and you can't really voice it until they realize that you're not who they're looking for, or that they realize the situation is safe. It's just too commonplace that they feel like they start the confrontation, or they start the conversation with the guns out. It's no, hey, sir, nothing like that. It's no common decency. And you can't really argue with a cop. It's like you kind of have to like take them for their word up until and they can be completely wrong. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't really argue until you get to court. But if you don't say anything at that moment, they can take you all the way to jail and have you sitting in jail until you get your court date,
Yeah. Carla, has anything happened to you, racial profiling?
No, nothing. I haven't been racially profiled by the police. I don't know why. I literally just don't know.
Well, that's good. I mean,
it is good. Like, I've been, well, first of all, like, not saying that anybody speeds, but I am very much a grandma driver. Like, like, I go speed limits. And because I can't drive, so I go speed limit. And then I'm in New York, so I don't drive that much. I don't drive here, but I'm from Baltimore. So when I'm home I drive. But I would say that I still feel like I am privileged, oppressed. Where, like, I have a lot of privileges, but I still feel oppressed from the privileges that I have. Like, I live in Brooklyn. I live in Dumbo, which is a very it's white. It's white as possible. And I feel like it's very small microaggressions that I deal with. Even in my building, like, I live in a very, very nice building, but one of the things that I definitely make sure that I do, even if it's during the daytime, I lock the door, and then I also make sure I have the chain on the door. Because, you just never know what could happen. And, they come in my door, and they're just like, why is this Black woman living in this? Like, this apartment can't be yours, So certain things like that. And then I even feel like my doorman gives me microaggression. How
do we change that? Is there any way we could change this?
I think it's tough because it's like, I think prior generations would have been like economic like having more money would make these things go away.
Yeah.
But not really, because it's like you can never really run from it. Like even like you're saying, like you live in a building where you pay the rent on time every month, but the doorman still has certain microaggressions. And people probably kind of wonder. And the kicker is, if you had a nephew or a cousin come by and visit, and they looked a certain way, they would get profiled. They'd be like, "Yo, what are you doing here?"
So is it just in people's mental psyche that they don't even know that they're actually demonstrating this type of profiling? You know, is that it?
It's definitely in the psyche, 110%. The question I had is like, if all the images on the news weren't like let's say for instance, all the images on the news was like everything bad a white person or white people did. You get what I'm saying? that would probably help our case a little bit, because it's like most of the people who have these inherent fears, the first time they've interacted with us is like through negative images on television.
Correct.
And then they move to cities or they move to areas where they finally do see black people, but they don't see all of us. They see the people who are just outside, who probably aren't doing the most. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now they profiled every person like that, or everybody of that same complexion, to be those people they seen on TV. So it's like, it's just a natural thing. Was like, I can never walk too close behind a white woman on a dark street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even with the glasses on, it's just always kind of like, oh shit, what's going to happen?
I know. I'm more afraid of white men than I am of black men.
You say that again.
I see them and I feel like I clutch my purse even harder, like a group of them, you know, because the next thing, I don't want to be like in a basement tied up in Brooklyn, because that's what they do.
That's not funny, but
Black people, they will rob you. But white people will like kidnap you, and next thing you know, they're torturing you, and next thing you know, people can't even find you. But I feel like for us to be so oppressed for so long, it's literally what did we do? What did we do that we're so oppressed? You know, and it's literally, we didn't do anything. We were minding our business in Africa. You know, they stole us from Africa. They brought us over here. We were oppressed for 400 years. Right. And it's literally like, there's nothing we could have done. There's nothing that we did do. Unfortunately, like just the way of the world, we are just the oppressed people. And I just don't know what it is and why. You know, you think about it all the time. You try to have pinpoint certain parts in history, and it's really like, if you guys hate us so much, like, just leave us alone. Just leave us alone. Just let us do us. Like, and
exactly.
They just can't though.
Exactly.
Because I think in their DNA, they're just a nosy, busybody people. Period. Like, you know, like that's like, if it's in our DNA that we operate in CP time, it's in their DNA that they're caring. Like that's just in their DNA.
Yeah, but it doesn't help when there's so many of them in control of this government that we're currently in. You know, this country. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not helpful.
They're in control of everything in this country. I don't know how many black people became rich without the assistance of a white person.
Exactly. Someone had to vouch for them so that they could move up. Exactly. Because
so many people keep that's the hard thing about being able to completely separate from them, because we don't have collectively a lot of wealth that we're able to just share, or we want to share. The select few, when they become extremely rich, they do whatever they can to help, but they can't really. It's different when like everybody, they have 400 years of a head start. You get what I'm saying? 450 years really, because even after slavery ended, we were able to become middle class so easily being white, because there was so many jobs that weren't available to everybody else that was living here.
Exactly.
So just as long as like you and your brothers and your sisters and everybody got the good jobs before like the 60s, when we was able to start getting those jobs, then it was just kind of like everybody got education for cheaper. Like I don't think it's a coincidence that like by the time after the 80s, you couldn't no longer afford college off of a minimum wage job. You know, so by the time I even thought about getting to college, like you had to damn near be making $200,000 a year to get a loan to send your child to college.
Right. It's amazing. And that shouldn't even be the case. So for it to go up incrementally like that is just crazy. Just crazy.
Kids used to pay for college with summer jobs.
Yeah.
Remember those movies? It was like, I'm gonna get a job to pay for college. You get a job that's gonna pay for like 2 weeks of like, that's not gonna pay for a textbook.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then even if you are in college, to try to even develop after college, you know, like internships are literally for the privileged.
Yeah.
You know, like how can I take on an unpaid internship all summer? Like summertime, like I need to be working. Like I need to be stacking up my coins so I have enough money to go back to school for the next semester. So so it's literally those little things that keep that they are privileged to, that we are oppressed to. It's like how can I take this internship at the New York Times? And the New York Times has billions of dollars, but I have to take an unpaid internship in New York City. And what am I supposed to do for food for a whole?
Give a last comment to Tariq. If you have anything else you want to share with our audience regarding these two subjects, any last words here?
Don't get distracted. Stay woke. I think everybody has to take individual measures, but as well as try to find ways to help the community at large in whatever field you're in or whatever you're striving to. Every institution and industry is changing over, and the ears are open to hearing. But while you're doing that, find ways to protect yourself individually.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Thank you, Tyreek. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right.
Fun.
Peace out.
All right.
Bye-bye.